Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Insights presenting the Claflin Athletic Show, sponsored by Tony T. Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram. In this 2023 edition, we got the second appearance for the women's basketball program and the legendary coach in his own mind, Coach Terence Jenkins.
How you doing? Thank you for having me again.
Oh, Coach, you know, we had to bring you back, and we got to at least get you one more time before we go to the CIAA tournament.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, Coach, we want to let people know how you're doing and what's going on in Claflin Athletics. But before we go too far, a special shout out on something that occurred, and that was Zoe Adams, sprinter, Claflin University sophomore. She got the indoor track and field started in a big way when she was named the CIAA Food Line Women's Indoor Track Athlete of the Week back for the week of December 7th. And she began her season with two more impressive performances to bring home Wednesday's honor. We've had her on the show earlier with the women's track and field. In fact, that was the most watched show, Coach. Wink, wink.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Awesome. You know, we're a team here, so, hey, we support each other, so that's great.
Good response. And she's in that sophomore class that you have some outstanding young ladies in your sophomore class.
They are. We continue to grow each and every day. So, hey, I'm excited by those young ladies.
And as coach, you should be. You know, the Claflin women's basketball team comes in with a 9-5 record, 3-3 in the CIAA, just off a brutal road trip.
Yeah. And
coach just getting in this morning, but graciously agreed to come on today to give you an update about his program. Tell us a little bit about this. What's happened to you in 2023?
Well, we started off pretty good, you know. Then we hit a couple bumps in the road. We played some Peach Belt schools and took two games, took two losses back to back, and then we got back on track. And then we entered CIAA play, and we came off with a great start, getting off to a 2-0 start, and then just before the break. We was on a 5-game winning streak, and we lost to Virginia State, and went home, and with a little salty taste in our mouth. And you know, we got back here on I think December 28th, and started back practice on December 29th to prepare for the 6-day road trip that you just spoke about. And we started off by playing Virginia Union. We was able to get off to a slow start against Virginia Union, but we was able to, you know, pull it out at the end. And then we took two tough losses against Bowie State, and then we took a tough loss last night against Lincoln. And like you said earlier, you know, end up being 3-3 to the North Division team.
Coach, it's you know, and I appreciate you going back a little bit, bringing your audience up to date on what's been going on. But, you know, if we're going to go back, then let's go all the way back. And let's go back to the week of December 13th when a couple of your sophomores did exceptionally well. Lauren Scott was a CIAA Food Line Player of the Week. And then you had sophomore Nia Norris. She was a CIAA Food Line Defensive Player of the Week for those games. And I know you had to feel good about the accomplishments of those two young ladies.
Yes, very excited by those two young ladies, and a couple more sophomores that me and you just talked about. Got a sophomore class that's really a sensation on the court and off the court. You know, those ladies actually gets it done in the classroom, in the community, and on the floor. So Lauren Scott, you know, young lady that played for me last year, mid-season, and shot the ball really well. She's in a dual role for me, where she's more of a shooting guard, but she's playing the point out of position a little bit. But she does whatever she needs to do to make sure help the team win. And then when it comes to Nia Norris, came out of junior college with high expectations, and she came in here with the scoring threat. And then I ain't even look at the defensive side. And so she's more of a scorer, but she's lightning quick, and she can defend, you know, 1 through 5, you know, and with her skill set.
Well, that bodes well for the future for you. But you also have two seniors that have been doing an excellent job for you, Janelle Horton and Destiny Coleman. They've been doing pretty good for you, Coach.
Yes, they've been coming around. I told them we need more out of them because going into the second part of the season, especially with the CIAA, going into the CIAA season, I always tell them this senior season right here. Definitely senior season. Your seniors have to step up this time of the year, and the underclassmen should follow. And they're doing a good job by help leading the team to the next level.
Okay, Janelle seems like she's doing a little bit of everything. Scoring, she got a couple games. She hit the boards for you.
Yeah.
What position do you have her playing, Coach?
That's our version of Draymond Green. She does it all. You know, she does it all. She has to bring it up. She has to rebound. She has to defend the best defender. She got to drive the bus sometimes. She just does it all, and she accepts her role well, and she's a vocal leader of the team as well. You know, she's that young lady that's going to tell the team, "Hey, we got to pick the energy up." And so, definitely. Looking forward to her going into the South Division to take her game to the next level as well.
Okay, what division are you in? You're in the Northern Division or the Southern Division?
The Southern Division. So
you play everybody in your division twice, and
twice.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what about the Northern Division? Do you venture over there?
Yeah, we finished over there. We finished 3-3, and so finished even Steven. So of course, definitely want to win every game that we go play jump ball. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad because it could be 0-6. I always tell the young ladies, could be worse. So we got to continue to grow and peak at the right time. It's January now. We shouldn't be a December team. We shouldn't be an October team. We should be a January team. And so when February comes, we should be a February team. We should be peaking at the right time.
And that's kind of the question, you kind of psychic. That's kind of the question I was going to ask you about. But I'm going to deviate just a little bit. Share with the listening and viewing audience a little bit about what it's like to go on the road. I think you had 3 games on the road. Kind of share that experience. People just don't really understand all of what goes on in terms of travel and, unfamiliar gyms, hotels, practice times, when a team allot you a practice time, changing it because they want to get and we've had situations where they changed our practice time. One time we could get in the gym was 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And all kind of craziness, and then having them away from their normal routine. Explain a little bit, even in terms of what you do planning before the trip and just the logistics and some of the things that go on, because people don't really know. It's not a vacation, and I know you tell your team that every time you're bored.
Business trip always, Mr. Clayton. That's a little bit, but I'm trying to narrow it down much as possible. But a lot goes into.
No, you don't have to narrow it down. Just tell them, because I want people to have a clear vision of what it's like, because they don't know. Yeah, and it's different from football where they travel with a large party, but you go for a couple of days and you're back. But in basketball, sometimes you're gone 4 or 5 days.
Absolutely. And I tell the young ladies, of course, they never play football. And I tell them all the time, playing basketball, football, you got week after week to play, like you just spoke on. But basketball, you ain't got time to rejoice in the win, and you ain't got time to mope in the loss, because less than 48 hours, you back jump ball. But what goes into the whole 6-day trip like we just came off this morning is it's brutal. It's life in a balance, because the young ladies and the young men that was on the trip with us, the men's team that was with us, it's just you don't want to OD with basketball. They love what they do, but they ain't all in like the coaches sometimes. So you gotta have a life in the balance where if you get a little time in there and we can go to like a historic museum or something like that, that's always good. But you tell the young lady, like this trip right here was going up north, and of course we got beautiful weather down here in South Carolina, and we was going up north, so you have to tell them, hey, bring your meds, bring all your toiletries, bring your heavy coat, because it's always easy to add clothes that you have, but you can't add what you don't have. And so we told them to bring a big overcoat, because we don't know what the weather's going to be, but we definitely knew it was going to be cold. And when it comes to hotel, we try and tell them, hey, this is a business trip. We're not on vacation. The school spend a lot of money to make sure that we are comfortable. We staying in the nice hotels. We driving on a nice bus. Two to a room. You will get good breakfast. You will get all those incentives that comes with traveling under the school expense. But at the end of the day, I always tease the girl, hey, don't be a thief. That's not steal from the school. That's make sure we handle our business. We are here on a business trip. And then you have to think about the other visitors in the hotel. We're not in here by ourselves. So we always want to be professional and first class about what we do. Because we're not here. We represent our family. We represent Dr. Womack and Claflin University. And, in our program, what we stand on, we're a first class program, so we don't want to be running around. And, the young kids love to put the latch in the door and be slamming doors. And so as a coach, we have to think 20 steps ahead of the young ladies to let them know, like, hey, we're not here on vacation. We're here on a business trip. And then when it comes to practice, we just kind of let them know what's next. And so they can have their psyche ready to know how we're going to move each and every day. And that makes them feel more relaxed and like they belong in the program. And I've been doing that over the last couple of years with the young ladies, with the young men when I was on the men's side. But now I'll be on the ladies' side. They really like when you tell them, hey, today, this is what's going to happen. This ABC, and they can move a little bit more fluid. And then you kind of let them know life is not always perfect. It might be some adversity. The other school might call back and say, hey, change the plans. We got to set up in the gym. Coach, we're going to try to find you another gym. And so we try to let them know adversity is going to kick in. But it could be the easy route is just say, oh, we ain't going to practice. Just quit. No, we wait till tomorrow. No, you got to find another incentive because we got to find a way to get it done. And so all that, and just keep everyone on the same page. And like I said earlier, I told the young ladies we need to grow as a team. And I think it helped us bond a whole lot more because, hey, we all we got when you're on that road. And going into them hostile environments, CIAA, one thing I can say about the CIAA teams, their college team is their WNBA team or the NBA team. So they come out and support their teams. So when you go into somebody else's house, it takes a different person to go in somebody else's house and take over. And so you have to go in there with a different focus, a different attitude, a different approach to go in there and try to steal a road win. And it's tough to win one game. So you asking the young lady to go win a road game. So you got to have a different type of focus, and you got to have a different type of determination to the game.
Coach, that was a great response. And I didn't want you to give the Cliff Note version. I wanted you to go on and take the time and explain it because even with what you said, there's so many layers to what you've said. And so your men and women's team travel together?
Well, it was two separate buses, but we traveled together. Yeah.
Oh, but Coach, that's key. I mean, if you're traveling, two separate buses, I remember days we used to travel in one bus.
Absolutely.
And that created problems in itself.
Yeah, because you got two different itineraries. They want to do their thing, we want to do our thing, and they don't want to sit in the gym because during the trip, like I said, adversity kicked in. Our guys got moved to a slot where they had a TV game against Bowie State. So our game got moved from 2 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So we went from playing Virginia Union at 5:30, rejoicing in the win, bam, going back to the hotel, going to sleep, driving to Bowie, getting a practice time, and bam, we had to wake the ladies up at 7:50 normally, where we wouldn't have to wake them up at that particular time, and we just had to get it done. We're not gonna sit back and complain. We just gotta go out there and play the game. And where the boys, they weren't able to come watch us play like they usually do because they was on different itinerary because they didn't want to come to the gym from 11 o'clock all the way till 3 o'clock until they got ready to play. That's tough. That's brutal on those young men.
And see, that's one of the things I really enjoy about this show is being able to give people introspective view of what's going on. Now, changing from 2 to 12 might not seem like much to a spectator, but for a team and a coach, 2 o'clock is already early. Then 12 o'clock is even earlier. Now they have to get up earlier. You have to adjust their breakfast time in terms even of what time they eat and what they can eat so
Yep.
that it has a chance to digest by the time they go on the floor and play at 12, but they're headed to the facility 10:30 to get ready to play.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And all that makes a difference. It really does. But one of the things that you mentioned, I want to go back and kind of emphasize a little more. I love the way that you try to include some educational material in terms of people or the student athletes being able to see some things they don't normally see, historical artifacts, being able to go to places that they might not go on their own. Is that something that you always try to work in your schedule where possible, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. I've worked under Coach Ron Willie, who was the assistant coach at Elizabeth City, and actually played for him as well. And I worked under Coach Ricky Jackson, who is a Division II assistant AD out in Colorado. And that's what we did on the men's side a lot. If we had a break on long trips, like if we was on a 7 or 8 day trip, we always try to include some education in there, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, the young ladies probably wouldn't take that time to go on that trip on their own. So it's always good to show them another side of this thing called life, because that's all they're thinking they're going to be 17, 18, 19 years old forever. But no, it's a bigger picture. It's a whole lot more shoulders that we stand on that came before us, that got us to this point. And they need to understand that. So we not only just basketball coaches, we have to be life coaches.
Exactly. Coach, do you make your hotel arrangements or does the school make them?
We do. We are able to make our hotel arrangements.
So a lot of times the teams are staying in different places?
Sometimes this particular trip, we stayed in the same hotels with the men, and it didn't cause any problems. Matter of fact, one of the general managers of one of the hotels stopped me, and she was like, man, the women and the men are so well mannered. It's been quiet. Usually we get AAU and different high schools come through. It's a little loud, which to be expected. No knock on it, but y'all are just so quiet and well mannered. And I want to ask them, hey, is something wrong? but that's what me and Coach Dunlap, we run a tight ship, but we let them be young adults at the same time, and just always tell them to respect other space, respect other people's time. And the young ladies and the young men are responding real well to both of us.
That's really good that the two of you get along so well. That helps alleviate a lot of possible problems.
Absolutely.
But one of the things, even in selection, and I already know I'm talking to veterans, but I'm speaking for those people who don't know, there's a big difference when you're traveling and you stay in a hotel and a motel. And you try to not have your team having to go outside into the elements to go room to room, just even in terms of security and safety. And you mentioned, boy, did we fight a lot about putting that lock on the door where the door won't close and people could just walk in because they go from one room to the next. Mm-hmm. But in the interim, especially with young ladies, somebody else could slip in that room. It's not one of your teammates.
Absolutely.
So for your own security, you have to lock that room. How do you handle that, Coach?
Man, we tell the young ladies, before we go on the trip, we tell them, hey, nobody, make sure you look to the peephole at night. Once you in that night, put that extra latch on the door and don't open the door for no one, and make sure you look outside before you go outside. That's our motto. So just going to the door, waking up sleepy, and just open up the door for anybody, and somebody can just, push the door in. That's for me as well. We got a male manager. Same thing happened to him. We don't want no hiccups on the road, because at the end of the day, I would hate to have to call my president or my AD and let them know that some bad news, and some parent to let them know that something happened on my watch to their child. Because at the end of the day, like I tell the young ladies, at the end of the day, you all have a father. I'm not trying to be your father, but while you here with me, you're mine. And I'm going to treat you just like you mine. And I don't want nothing to happen to you while you're on my watch at all.
Okay. And we did the same thing. Another question, do they have a travel curfew when they're on the road?
Oh, absolutely, man. We had to put one on, you kind of got to see the lay of each day. And so just taking you back to the Virginia Union. Before we played Virginia Union, we got back to the hotel in good enough time, and so they had time to kind of, play cards and little stuff that young adults do, college students do. And so I told them we're gonna shut down at 11 o'clock to get ready for Virginia Union. That worked out, and so with the time moving up against Bowie, we got into Bowie. We went to practice around 5 o'clock. Got out at 6:15. Got us some dinner. Got back to the hotel. I said, okay, we got a long day tomorrow because, like you said, the itinerary changed from a 2 o'clock game to a 12 o'clock game. So that means we had to wake them up at 7:50, and we had a 45-minute route to get to Bowie. And so we had to make sure we had to get on that side, got them a good breakfast so it can, digest, and so they can be ready for the game to move forward. So that particular night, knowing that we had to get up at 7:50, and we had to have a curfew at 10 o'clock. So because we knew it was going to be a long day, you needed your focus, you needed your energy, because, hey, we had just finished playing Virginia Union. Now, I told them they need to leave on the floor against Bowie State because we have a lot of time to rest on the back end for Lincoln because we hadn't moved up the time. So it was a good thing and a bad thing. But, unfortunately, we didn't get the results that we wanted. But I'm telling you, Mr. Clayton, those young ladies, I saw them grow within my eyes to say, moving forward, we're going to be a tough out coming up these next couple of games.
Okay, and I'm going to come back to the bonding issue, the last little piece about the travel, hotels versus motels and all. We always were encouraged by a much older athletic director to always try to stay in a property with a restaurant. And I asked him why. He said, especially when you go north, because if you get snowed in and you have to stay a couple extra days, even if you run out of money, they will generally allow you to eat in the restaurant and bill it back to the school. Because we were playing in the MEAC, and we would be at Howard, Delaware State, Maryland Eastern Shore. And we've had times when we were snowed in and money ran out. And that was one of the things that they had always kind of told us to do. But I love your team doesn't really grow until you're faced with adversity. And you have to do some things to bond, especially as you said, when you're traveling, it's nobody but you and the men's team. That's about it. I mean, so I love the fact that you try to get there to support each other. That's really kind of critical. Coach, you had some early season success. You did something that was, it hadn't happened in almost 10 years, and you broke the clock on a couple people, not once, but twice earlier in the year. I see that little smile on you, Coach. That's an accomplishment there, and I needed to make sure that everybody was aware of it, how you came out blazing guns, But I also want to mention that some of that early success, when you came back, you stepped in the CIAA competition and some of that, but how much did the break affect you? The Christmas break, which we kind of talked about offline before it came, in terms of getting your young ladies back to where you had them running on about 5 out of 6 cylinders. You weren't 6 cylinders yet or a V8, but, it looks like you might have had a little bit of difficulty trying to get them back to where they were before they left.
Absolutely, Mr. Clayton. You being a former coach, you hit it right on the head. And you're talking to coaches all the time, and you like, when you rolling, you almost like you don't want the break. And then when you're not rolling, you're almost like, we might need to separate and hit the reset button. So it's a double-edged sword. But at the end of the day, I knew, even though that we was rolling, I wanted to win that last game going into the break so we can have some feel good going home. So that turkey and that, the macaroni would just taste a little different, going home, not that bad taste in your mouth at the same time. But I told the young ladies, we didn't get the outcome we wanted on the 19th. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the end of the world. But we need to get back in the real form. And like you said, it's taken us a little while, but I seen it. I see it coming. I see it coming back where we like, okay, Coach, I see. I understood what you were saying back in December about, man, this break can be good and bad. And right now, like I told them last night, we have lost the last 3 out of 4 games. And that's uncharacteristic from us now because we're building a winning program and winning tradition. So we need to get back to our winning ways. So the only way you get back to your winning ways is you got to do everything right to a T. You got to go to class. Get out the bus today. You got to go to class. You got to go to class. You got to get back in the gym. You got to get back in the weight room. You got to get back into, the day-to-day operation to get yourself out of this. We're not in a slump, like I told him, Coach. But I told him we're in a little funk right now. We just need to work ourselves out of this little funk right now, and we'll be fine. You got to stay uplifted, and positive, and you move forward. Because at the end of the day, we can't do nothing about those games that we lost. But we can change the narrative by these upcoming games. And so that's our focus the next couple of days.
Yeah, we had discussed it. You and I had talked about it offline, having experienced it, and we dread to have those Christmas breaks. And even I've coached the men and women, as you know, and a lot of times the men work a little bit harder over the break than the women do. But you also had an opportunity when you played Virginia State. You had 2 girls go for 40 points against you, Coach. I know you were. I was going to say pulling your hair out, but we both got the same length of hair there. And they shot the lights out from 3, 8 of 15 from the 3-point line. And I know that that's something that you work on. Like sometimes good offense beat good defense, but they kind of shot the lights out that night, Coach.
Yeah, they came in. You can tell they came in with the attitude of saying, hey, we would not be denied tonight. And I told the young lady, you can tell, how they was moving. Like they came in, to do what they do. And they shot the lights out, it'd be like that sometimes, that as a former coach, where just some nights, some teams got your number. And I just think that despite of them hitting those shots, we still was in the ball game at the end of the game, and we just couldn't get those meaningful stops that we usually get. And, the basketball guys caught up with us because we were able to win some games early in the semester that way. And so, eventually, like I told the young ladies, it's going to catch up with you. When you play on the edge, it's going to catch up with you. And they caught up with us against them, but we was able to, come back after the break. And it almost got us again against Virginia Union, but we was able to kind of work through it and get the win. Where the last 2 games against Bowie and Lincoln, it wasn't so good for us. But I think they understand it. Of we can't come out with those slow starts. We've been having slow starts the last couple of games where, we'll get down 6 to 12 points. Then we'll say, okay, Coach, what you got for us? You can't live like that in this game of basketball. So I think we'll do a better job with this upcoming game coming Saturday.
Yeah, you got what, 3 games on the road coming up? Or I know you're at Livingstone, and then is Winston-Salem at home, and then you
at home. Yeah, this will be our 4th game away. So we definitely we go into a hostile environment again. But I think we battle tested, Coach, and I think we'll be ready and locked in and ready to go against our first South Division foe.
Okay. Well, Coach, I love this conversation, and I love the basketball dialogue, but I really appreciate you taking the time to give the people an insight. There go that word again. So insight into your program that they might not normally have, that they wouldn't get anywhere else outside of the Claflin Athletic Show. Absolutely.
Thank you for having this platform for us.
Coach, absolutely. Special hats off to AD Tony O'Neill and our sponsor, Tony T. Chrysler Dodge Ram, supporting the Claflin Athletic Show as they have. Ladies and gentlemen, we always like to mention, if you have a recruit, potential interest in the Claflin Athletic Department or in the Claflin women's basketball team in this case, Coach, tell them how they can get in touch with you or your staff.
Well, you can definitely get in contact with me by emailing me at terence.jenkins@claflin.edu. Terence spelled TERRENCE.Jenkins, JENKINS @claflin.edu. Or you can just call my office phone or my cell phone. Office phone is 803-535-5368. Cell phone 803-378-7271. And we definitely definitely welcome you with open arms and kind of bring you a part of the Claflin family.
Bam, there it is. Straight from Coach T. He let you know how to reach him every way that's imaginable. You got his email address, you got his office number, and his cell phone number. You know, and Coach, we wish you good luck. We will be down there, or up there actually, for the pause tournament at the end of the month. Get a chance to see you in person, talk to you, get a chance to meet with the staff and talk to them a little bit about what's going on with the Claflin Athletic Show and the outstanding support that we've gotten in terms of publicizing, presenting, and recognizing the Claflin Athletic Department.
Awesome. I'm excited about meeting you, man. It's been delighted to just chat with you these last 2 interviews, man. Looking forward to, meet you in person and having another interview by the time it's time for us to get ready for that CIAA tournament and make this championship run.
Coach, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate getting a chance to know you and open up about your program. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all know me, Mickey Clayton, the head coach at Florida A&M University men's basketball team and the women's basketball team, but not at the same time. Kind of understand what they're going through, and we talk a little bit off record about different things. And
Absolutely.
It's a program. Have my daughters been coming out now? They play for Coach Jenkins. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being a part of INSiiGHTS presentation of the Claflin Athletic Show, sponsored by Tony T, Chrysler Dodge Ram, and Coach Jenkins, opening up, sharing about his program. We wish them much luck, and until we see them in a few weeks, continue success, Coach.
All right, thank you. Go Panthers.